Over the last two topics, we've been exploring just how powerful our thoughts are, their impact on our worldview, and their impact on our reality, as we saw in the ladder of inference. And I feel this is really an important part of managing our well-being, and that is to take accountability for our thought processes. And this means we have to step into the ladder of inference, possibly question some of our assumptions, and look at the meanings that we have. And as we start changing these, as we start changing the perspectives within our thought processes, we start to change our worldview and we start to change our reality, and this leads to a healthier long-term state of well-being. Now, in this topic, we will explore how we can begin to start working with our thought processes, and as we do, we change the meaning to change the feeling. This requires we do not accept our automatic default settings of thinking as true. You will recall that our meaning we attach to our thinking is derived from our culture and our past experiences, which create our reality. As we test these meanings and assumptions, we're effectively stepping out of that box that these past experiences and culture can create for us. So let's look at an example. The normal default meaning of success, one could argue, is around money. That's how most cultures automatically define it. If I make money, then I'm successful. But that means if you don't have money, or you're working towards making money, you're not successful until you have it. So how does that make you feel? This default way of thinking can influence people to work in jobs they hate so that they can buy things they do not need to impress the people they do not like. Now, if one steps out of this box thinking, which basically says the person with the most toys wins, they can then change the meaning of success for themselves, and as they do so, change the meaning to change the feeling. Now, I know many entrepreneurs whose definition of success is not money, but it's based on, for example, how happy they make their clients, or it's how many times they get up after every fall whilst they're growing their business. This meaning fuels them differently. It gives them the energy to push through their challenges they face as entrepreneurs. Now, sure, money is important as it provides us with our basic necessities, but is money the only meaning that contributes to how we feel about ourselves when it comes to success? This just gives you an example of how important it is to consciously take charge of our own meanings in life and not let our past experiences or culture determine our meaning for us. And I feel this is one of the most powerful ways we can start placing our well-being in our own hands. Now, when it comes to day-to-day aspects of life, working with meaning in the small things is as important as the bigger things. You know, we can get irritated by those long queues at the shops, the traffic on the way to work, or that one work colleague. Behind this irritation are stories we are telling ourselves that reinforce the meaning, and if we are not prepared to step in and view things from a different perspective, then we will be stuck in the monotony of Groundhog Day. Now, you may have seen the movie. This is about a weatherman played by Bill Murray who relives the same day again and again until he begins to change the meaning in his life. Now, even though it's an old movie, please go and watch it. It's well worth it. Now, one of the challenges we face with our thinking is to assume our initial thoughts are always right. Now, I'm not talking about intuition. Intuition is more of a feeling or a gut feel. You know, it's a deeper insight than a thought. And I feel intuitions are generally more quieter, more of a whisper compared to our thoughts, which are pretty loud and generally more obvious. So let's do a quick exercise to demonstrate how our initial thoughts may not always be true. Now, I'm going to give you a question, and I want you to pay attention to what your first thought is regarding the answer. So, are you ready? A bat and a ball cost $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. So how much does the ball cost? Now, at this point, you can press pause if you want to think about it a bit, and then you can listen to see what the answer is. So firstly, what was your initial thought? Well, for most, it may be 10 cents that came up as the initial thought, but that is wrong. The ball costs 5 cents. The bat is $1.05, therefore $1 more. So here's another quick test for you to look at. There's a diagram in front of you. You've got two red lines that you're looking at within the diagram. Which line looks longer? The line on the right or the line on the left? Well, your initial thought might say that the one on the right looks longer, but it's an illusion. They're both the same. The point is, do not simply accept your initial thoughts as true. And to do this requires that you must question your thinking. You know, we start to think about our thinking. So here are a couple of questions you can ask yourself. The first one is, are my stories I am telling myself true? Have I built any assumptions into my story? Now, if you even have a few assumptions built in, then they're not 100% true. So you go to the next question. Who or what would I be without that story? Now, this gives you an idea as to how your current way of thinking is affecting how you feel about yourself. It might not only be how you feel about yourself, but how you feel about others and life in general. What would you be without that story? If you feel you'd be happier or less stressed, then maybe it's worth changing the story, especially since it's not 100% true. Now you go to the third question and ask yourself, if the story is not 100% true, what other story could I tell myself instead? Now, since the original story is definitely not true, what new story could you tell yourself? And as you do, change the meaning to change the feeling. Please watch a short video straight after this lesson. It's titled This Is Water. It's by David Foster Wallace. It's really a powerful video because it gave me so many insights in terms of how we can start changing the meaning to change the feeling around those day-to-day frustrations we experience. You know, the long queues, the traffic, that one person that just irritates you. And in Workbook 3, Exercise 2, you'll be challenged to change the meaning in the small situations around you that frustrate you. And in the next topic, we are going to be working with a really exciting exercise around our inner voices and the stories they tell us. And we'll also explore how we can detach ourselves from these inner voices that negatively impact on our well-being. Now, as we finish off, I leave you with a wonderful quote by James Allen. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. So I will see you in the next topic, and until then, take care and stay aware.